Let's have a look at our final technique this week, and our final technique for the whole course is called payback period. The payback period is it's actually the easiest thing we're going to do in the entire course, believe it or not. It's just the number of years it'll take to recover your initial capital investment. So let's say we invest $100,000 in something, how long will it take to recover our money? Well, if a project costs $100,000 and we get profits of $20,000 per year, the payback is going to be 5 years. How did I get that? Well, it cost me 100,000. I make 20,000 per year. That's going to be 5 years, isn't it? Now there's no interest rate here. So there's no interest rate on the go. It's a very simple technique. You think, boy, I just spent 4 months learning all about the time value of money and interest rates, and now I'm not going to use it for the last thing. And it seems a bit too simplistic almost, doesn't it? And very kind of amateurish, but it does give you a rough idea. And especially at a time like now when rates are low, it's not that far off. Even if we had put a rate in there, we wouldn't be much different if I'd put in 1 or 2 or 3%, something like that. So um, it's a very simple, straightforward method you can do on the back of an envelope or a napkin in a restaurant and get a rough idea of how long it's going to take you to make your money back on something. That's the payback period. Let's look at a slightly trickier one, but actually not that hard. What if we have an investment that costs 50,000, then gives us these cash flow returns, 20, 15, 10, and 10. They're not the same every year, so I can't just divide, and get a quick answer like I did on the last slide, but it's not a whole lot harder. After the first year, I've made 20,000. Then in the second year, we're going to make another 15. So we're up to a grand total now of 35,000, aren't we? If we go ahead and add those together. After the third year, I'm now up to 45,000. So I'm not quite at my 50 yet, but look, the second year, I make 10,000. I only need 5. So I can stop halfway through this year and just take 5 more and to get to my total that I'm aiming for at 50,000. So my payback period in this case is going to be 3.5 years. So when you get uneven cash flows like that, you can still do it fairly quickly and easily. Just lay them out so you can work your way through them. Well, that's it for payback period. It's really that easy and straightforward. I told you it was going to be the easiest thing in the course. I think it is. And it's also our last thing. So we're done all of our new material. I do want to kind of compare all 3 methods for you though really quickly. NPV gives us a dollar amount as an answer. And that's great because we can kind of see, in a sense, the money that we're expecting to get out of a particular investment, or we can compare with others perhaps. What it may not tell us quite so much though is that sort of a good percentage overall? Well, then we came up with IRR, and that gives us a percentage as an answer. So that's great. We can now say, oh, okay, it's going to give us a 5% yield or a 10% yield or something like that. It's got the kind of the reverse problem though, I guess, because a 5% return on 10 million is probably better in our pockets than a 20% return on $1. And so the two of them both have their strengths, don't they? You may even want to do both on a particular question. One really odd little quirk with IRR, by the way, is occasionally you can get 2 answers that'll solve the equation. If the cash flows go from positive to negative along the way, multiple times, in that case, we don't know which one it is. So it's kind of an error situation. But 99.9% of the time, IRR is just fine. NPV always works. So there are 2 great techniques we can use. And then the third one, payback period, and that gave us time as an answer. Another good way to look at investment opportunities. The interesting thing with that though, time value of money was ignored, which is a little bit simplistic, but you can get away with it if you're just trying to do a rough idea, particularly when rates are low anyway. And so it's worth knowing just because it is so easy to do. So that's it for our final week of material, and that's it for the course as well. So congratulations, you made it all the way to the end. Good for you. You still got some studying to do for this week, of course, and some practice as well as our final quiz. But then you'll be able to move on and start to think about our final exam. So thanks for hanging in there. Good luck this week, and please let me know if you need any help along the way.